And we have Reverend Michael J.S. Carter with us tonight, Esther's guest. And Esther is here, and she's going to bring in some other people, I think, or maybe some other people will drop by, whatever. And kind of an open roundtable, but Michael, this is your show, and of course, it's more Esther's show than anyone's. He's the one who created it. And we have Andy in the chat room. Andy Morrow does the website for Earth Radio, and Bobby, master player in radio, television. He's got a really long name on this one here, but he has Space Waves after this show. So if you want some relaxing music, you can check that out. But anyway, Esther, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. It's Thursday evening. We have a special guest, Reverend Michael Carter. He's clergy at the Universalist Unitarian Church in Asheville. Is that correct?
Actually, in Black Mountain, but
Black Mountain.
We're in the same area.
Okay. So I talked to you earlier this week.
Yes.
And we kind of talked about some of the 12 laws of the universe. And you mentioned maybe we could talk about manifestation.
Yes.
Is that what you was wanting to talk about?
You know what, Esther? First of all, I liked your glasses. You took them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look great. No, we can talk about anything you want. You brought up manifestation, and I agree to it. I'm trying to practice it more in my life.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful topic, and it does tie in with my UFO experiences, in the fact that one of the things, I mean, I knew it intellectually, but, you know, in reading Seth and the Michael teachings and you know, and a lot of channel material, but metaphysical schools all talk about manifestation, and that if you can see what you want, you can pretty much create your reality. And people, you know, this is not physics. I mean, this is not philosophy. This is physics.
Yeah.
Because everything is energy. And so, one day after a visit from these people who healed my blood clot, these Nordic folks.
Okay.
I was meditating. And again, I already knew this, but knowing it and putting it into practice is two different things. There's an old saying that to know and not to do is not to know. And while I was meditating, and again, it was like a day or two after a visit, everything I thought about, I saw. If my mind thought of a car, the car would appear. If I saw an elephant, if I thought of elephant, whatever I thought, and that only went on for maybe like a minute or so.
Yeah.
But it was like, aha, they're reminding me, or maybe they weren't, maybe just meditation was, that thoughts are things, thought is energy, and we're like magnets. And so if you want more love in the world, you need to be more loving. You have to envision a more loving world, etc. Steve Harvey said it best. He said, if you can, and he got this from the book, The Secret, but if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And I've been being really intentional of late about this. I'll give you an example. And we all have our examples. I got this computer, right? Just maybe a week ago. I needed a computer, but my budget, because I have my church computer, but I want to have my own computer. I don't want to keep doing my personal stuff like this stuff on their computer. And I was saying, boy, I got to get a computer, but my budget right now won't allow for it. And a friend of mine gave me this computer. Now, I'm probably going to have to get another one. It's because it's a Microsoft Windows 7, and they don't update those. Windows 7 is old. But my point being, I needed something, and it came in. But I was focusing on it. It's a big financial time for me. We got a house, putting more money out right now than was coming in. And I just said, I'm not going to get into this fear thing about scarcity, which I do because I was raised that way. And I just said, I'm not going to, what I need is going to come in. And within a couple of days, I got speaking engagements at three other churches. I went out to Boston to shoot a couple episodes of Ancient Aliens. This conference is coming up, and I'm manifesting what I need. But when I get scared and I go, how's this? I got this is going on, and just put $1,000 on this, and when I get scared, I block it, and so that's the law of attraction.
Okay. I'm just going to go over a little bit about your past so that our viewers can kind of get to know more about you, the ones that don't know. Reverend Carter is often consulted on ancient aliens. Do they call you the UFO preacher or something?
No, you know what? I've been called worse. No,
Oh,
you know what? I didn't want to be called that. That's why I
oh,
wrote two. That's why I wrote two other books.
okay.
But guess what? They call me that now anyway, so I just accept
Could be worse.
it. Hey, that's right. I've been called worse, believe me.
So you're from Baltimore, Maryland. You moved to New York City in 1980, and you
Mhm,
lived there for 25 years.
mhm,
You were ordained as an interfaith minister,
mhm.
received your BA degree in letters at the College of New Rochelle. You received a master's in divinity. You did some special anti racism trainer and was recognized by President Clinton.
Mhm.
You also wrote a weekly column for the Asheville Citizen Times.
Yes.
Um, and I mean, there's other things, UFO journals, different things
Yeah.
if anybody
Yeah.
wants to know more, but
Yeah, they can go. You don't have to read all of them.
right. So, for
It's a
people who
lot.
didn't know, Reverend Carter is often on Ancient Aliens. I walked by the TV yesterday and you was on there.
Wow. I don't
I
even
was
watch
like,
it.
hey, Michael, but you didn't see me.
No, I don't even watch it. And I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. My life is so full now. My daughter's driving, and she's taking a college course along with her high school courses. We just got a house here. People have been dying. My congregation is older,
Uh
so
huh.
you know, people die. So that's been keeping me. But even though I did officiate a wedding a couple weeks ago, so life has been really busy, and I'm happy about that. So I don't really watch it as often, and but I always feel good when people say, "Oh, I just saw you the other day," and I say, "Oh, okay, great, that's good."
So, during your contactee moments, did they sort of lead you to the law of attraction?
No, you know what? That's a great question, Esther. And no, and I'll tell you what. Well, it's a great question. Before these visits, I had already started drifting away from the religion of my childhood because I couldn't reconcile a loving God like burning people and barbecuing people for eternity, that kind of thing. I knew a lot of, and I know great people who believe differently than Christianity. And I thought, so these people, they're good people. They're going to, so I was already drifting away. I was reading existential philosophy. I was doing, I was metaphysics. I was studying, channeling and tarot. And I was just moving beyond the boundaries of
You
what
were just exploring,
I
yeah.
was taught. And so, I guess when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Or sometimes when the student is ready, the teacher disappears. So I was already working on myself.
Mhm.
I'm trying to peel the onion and discover who I really was or am.
Okay.
And then I started having these visits as an adult.
Um, it's my
So they
friend.
didn't they
Uh,
didn't move me away, but they kind of how can I say real quick because I realized I didn't really answer your question. I they kind of affirmed what I already was doing. It was like an affirmation, like, yes, you're on the right path.
Okay.
And that was really helpful for me.
Okay. Um, I've brought on my friend Gemma.
Okay.
Hi.
Um,
Hi, Gemma.
Hi.
she's in Tennessee. This is Reverend Carter.
Good to meet you.
My
Ron is
pleasure.
above
Hey.
you,
Hi.
and you
Hey.
know
I've
me.
been
So
watching y'all, so I feel like I know you a little bit.
yeah, yeah. So just getting
Thanks for
some,
tuning in. Yeah.
some background on him learning how the law of attraction worked in manifestation.
You know, Michael, I find it funny when I see people that I know. Some I've met in person. I haven't met you in person yet. I hope to one
We
day.
will. I'm
And
sure we will.
but I know and met Mark D'Antonio in person. You know, he's a personal friend now. You know,
Yeah.
the MUFON uh, photo analyst. You know, and he has his own company and does the observatory in Arizona and everything. And I've known Mark for quite a few years. And when I see him on the History Channel, and it's like, oh, I know that guy. You know, I really do know him though. You know, I know that guy. It's pretty cool. He's a TV star, and I know this guy. You know, and then you're kind of the same way. I haven't met you in person yet, but I believe we will meet
Oh,
probably this next year.
I'm sure
And
we will.
I'll make it a point that we get to a conference here at or something, or maybe come and visit your church. I don't know.
You're always welcome.
Yeah,
We can go out and have a beer later
there you go. And
or two.
but
I
when I
did
see
see a Universalist church in Spartanburg.
and when
Yeah, the
I
UU Church in Spartanburg.
there you
Hmm.
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I think that's a pretty big church. I think.
Yeah, and I just gotta say it's comforting to know that we are connected to some very important and intelligent people involved with the ufology topic and other topics as well. You know, not just the UFO thing, but there's other
Right.
topics. You know, but I know some of these people on the internet side, and it's like their family, and I know them personally. You know, and then you, I feel like I know you personally. Esther, I feel like I've known her from before this lifetime. But anyway, it's a whole nother topic. Uh,
We have been brought back here to help the other people not lose their
we talked
minds.
about that.
Yeah.
She's been sharing some stuff with me about balancing my chakras and everything. And you're into some of that stuff, right, Michael? And this is Esther's show. We're going to let her talk again. I
I was
promise.
just going to introduce our our audience here. We've got Justin, Andy, Marco, Venus. That's Bobby and Ufi and Charles.
All right. Everybody made it. Everybody we
So
know.
yeah.
We know a lot of these people for quite a long time. Yeah, I was just thinking that, you know, it's amazing how we connect. And I believe that we are all connected. Okay. Some of us kind of understand that connection better than some others, you know, but when we do get that connection and we understand it, then it's like we know each other our whole life, even if we never met, you know? And that's what's amazing. And it doesn't matter what our religious thinking is, it doesn't matter what our political viewpoint is, it doesn't matter what the deal is. When we meet that one person or a couple of people that we might meet, it's like I've known you my whole life. You know, it's a good feeling that way, you know? So 'cause I know that when I come and visit you, you'll protect me. I'll be fine, and nothing is going to be happening that's bad or negative or not meant to happen. You know what I mean? As far as anything dangerous or anything like that. And so, you know, I believe that when we come to that point where we can get to know somebody on that level, it's pretty darn amazing. And I think this goes along with your topic of manifestation. What do you think?
Um, Reverend Carter, what was the first time you remember realizing, oh, this really works?
You know, one of my favorite philosophers is Soren Kierkegaard, who was a Danish Christian philosopher, And he said, life is lived forward. We said a lot of great things, but he said, life is lived forward, but it's only understood backwards. And, you know, I can't say exactly when. I started going to metaphysical churches when I was in New York. But I I do know this, and this was before I found out about the law of attraction. Everything in my life that I really wanted, I always got. And some of it, the positive and the negative. And I remember it because of my thoughts. And I was sitting in my office about a few months ago, and it's still kind of amazing. But I remember when I was living in New York, I was kind of struggling as an actor, and I decided to go to seminary and become a minister. And I used to visualize my own office with my degrees on the wall and people coming to me, and I would give them energy healing or, readings or just doing pastoral counseling. And that's what I have now. In my office, I have my degrees. I have a nice little office. The chair's right there. People come in like today, planning a memorial service for someone. Sometimes I do the Reiki in my office. So, but I had to see it. And the thing for me with manifestation, for me, some people, I mean, it's not a competition. Some people can manifest a little more rapidly than others, is that sometimes it took time for me because I was raised just the opposite way. I was raised with scarcity consciousness, that money was evil, um, that the stuff I was studying was of the devil. And I had to break free of all that. And that took some time because it was in my subconscious. What do I deserve? I'm 65 years old. I just turned 65 in July, and I'm really getting it. I mean, I knew it up here, but the good that comes to me, I deserve that. But whether it's relationship, because if I don't think I deserve good, I'm not going to be able to accept the good in my life. I'm going to find a way to destroy it.
Right.
Because deep down, when I was single and I was on dating sites, I met people and I was a little further along in my own spiritual journeys and people that I really liked, and we liked each other. But I knew, and I even said to them, some of these young ladies, they maybe they were in an abusive relationship before, but I knew that I said, this is not going to work because I know now that I deserve the good, a good relationship, a nice job. I believe that, but they didn't make them bad people. But I knew that there was going to be some way, because if you don't believe you deserve something, you're going to find a way to destroy it.
Sabotage.
And it just didn't work out.
Hmm.
But I understand because, that's what most of us are raised that way. The church has told us you don't deserve. If this man hadn't died for you, you're like a worm. You don't deserve anything. And it's a schizophrenic kind of teaching. So I can't say exactly when it clicked, but I can say, looking back, as Kierkegaard said, in order to go forward, that I was fortunate enough. And I'm not talking about riches. I didn't think about having riches, but when I was a kid, coming up, if I wanted a new bike, if my parents got it for me, everything I really wanted, I got, both positive and negative. So that's when I started to realize how powerful the mind can be. And again, this is not, Einstein talks about, this is not philosophy, this is physics. And so I said, well, why not use it? I mean, Yeshua, Jesus talks about it's done unto you as you believe. Now you have to be careful with that, because if somebody doesn't get what they want, you don't want to say, well, you got cancer, you're dying of cancer because you didn't believe that you could recover from it. No, we're not talking
Right.
about that. But what I am saying is that we're more powerful than we think we are, And if you focus on what you want, take the time to visualize what you want. Could be 3 minutes, could be 2 minutes, could be a half hour. You do that long enough, it comes in because you got to see it coming in. You have to fake it till you make it, even if you don't believe. And then you will start to make that your reality.
I read an interesting thing, and it was talking about the placebo effect, and I share this often. Even though most people in their minds have like a negative connotation to it, like given some kind of sugar pills and
Yeah.
they believe it, and so, but it can work the opposite way as well. You can make yourself believe something, and that will cause it to happen. And that's the
Well, yeah,
placebo effect. Same thing.
you can. I mean, again, the mind is really powerful. However, again, you have to use common sense with it too. If
Hmm.
if I have asthma and if it's pretty well controlled, but if I was having an attack, I would take my butt to the emergency room and get the adrenaline shot.
That's
I'm
right.
not going to sit there and tell myself, "Oh, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay." So there's and it also depends on how advanced you are spiritually as well. So you got to use common sense with this stuff too. But
Hmm.
yes, your point is well taken. But again, the point is just how powerful our minds can be. I mean, we use what 10% of
Probably
our
not
brain
that much.
capacity. Yeah. So that goes to show you.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
I do. I hope I can get this out right and say it right. But I've got a question. I'm about the same age as you are, Reverend. And I was raised in a very strict church. It was a Protestant, but we had very, very strong beliefs. I mean, dress, hair, you name it, all of it. Now, on the flip side, I was raised that whatever you wanted, you prayed for. I had the type of preachers that would stand out on the front porch and pray for money to fall from heaven and expect it to be there. And when we prayed, I mean, same thing with you. If we were sick, we went to the doctor. We didn't push it that far. But if you had problems in your life, I was raised that God took care of them problems. But what I want to know from you is back in the 80s, I got involved. I left the church because with the church I was in, it was either that church or you went to hell, one or the other. You probably know what I mean there. And since my mind couldn't wrap around with all their beliefs, I thought, oh, well, I might as well go to hell because I can't swallow all this. So I kind of went my own way. It took a while to find it, but I never left Christ. I always felt like God
Yeah.
was in me. And
Yeah.
he stayed there. And I thought, well, if he left me, why am I still feeling him? And then I got to kind of exploring. And I ended up with a new age group that the majority of them was Wiccans when I
Mhm.
was in my early 20s. And I come from West Tennessee in the Bible Belt in the town that we'd never heard of what a Wiccan was.
Right.
But I had got involved with them and started listening to New Age teachings. And I noticed, and Helen Blavatsky, is that how you say it? I can't say that name right.
Yes. 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 Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
And all of her beliefs and everything,
Madam
which I've
Blavatsky.
researched
Yes.
through the years, very interesting stuff. But my question comes when I'm looking at it and comparing it, it's such a difference here on the people and what they feel they believe in. And yet, when I'm expecting something from God, a miracle or whatever it is, I pray for it. Where a lot of other people in New Age will go to the universal, they will meditate on it, they will do like that. What is the difference?
There is no difference. The only difference is they're using different words. You say
Well, I
God, they
feel
may
that
say,
way.
yeah, you say God, they may say the universe. Um, they may say the multiverse, they may say the force, they may say philosophers call it the one mind. Some people call it doesn't matter what you call it, and it just matters that you call on it.
I
And
guess
so
what I, I
and
guess
so
what I'm
there is
saying.
no difference. The only difference is You call it God, and they may
Right.
call it something else. No
I've
different.
always kind of felt like an example. This is an odd one. I know I can't get out what I'm trying to say. I had a preacher one time that was he was way up there, but he used to tell us that things like if you're not getting what you want, demand it, because and he was
Yeah.
quoting verses in the Bible that told you to demand it, demand it. I had a hard time with that demanding it. I mean, if I was demanding it to the universe, I might could do it better than if I was demanding it to God. To demand it to God, to me, I felt like I needed to at least give him the knowledge that I was going to him for it. That in other words, he wasn't required to sit up there and throw everything at me I wanted. That was kind of what would go over in my head when I would hear him teach it at the way that he was. So it kind of got me wondering, and I thought all this time that I've prayed, we've all prayed at some point or another, do we even need to? If it's to where we can meditate and think about things and get it to happen, or do we just need to be right with God in our
Well,
hearts?
well, those are a lot of things you're asking at once. I'm going to try to pick them one at a time. It doesn't
Sorry about
matter
that.
what you call it. If I say I envision it or I meditate, and you say you pray, you're still getting the same result. So what difference does it make?
Well,
This is how wars are started, because people were saying you're not doing it the way I'm doing it. It
yeah,
doesn't
I get
matter
that. I
if you're
think my
getting.
envisions of
Let me.
God.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah.
So let me answer your question.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter whether you say you pray to God, whether you say whether this person says I meditate, I envision it. It doesn't matter. You're getting the same outcome, but there is a difference, and I'm hearing it now. And if I'm wrong, correct me.
Okay. Okay.
When people say I'm um I'm going to meditate on this or I'm going to create this, they're not seeing, for the most part, a separation between God out there and me here.
Right.
That's the difference. For me, I don't have that. There's God out there, if you want to use those words, and there's God in here. There's
Right.
God everywhere. A lot of people think they're separate from God, so I got to beg God, God, please give me this. God, please give me that. But
I
these
think
other
you're right
teachings,
because I was
these
born
other
into a
teachings, it's
religion
not.
that had to be how you did,
Yeah,
and
I'm
now,
part of it. So I'm asking, because there's no new age. There's no such thing as new age.
well, yeah,
There's
I agree.
there's old wisdom being rediscovered, and we're just discovering it. So we're saying it's new. But these concepts have been around for
Many years. That's
millennia.
what me is
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about. Yeah.
So that's the only thing. I was taught, and maybe you were, that God was out there, and I'm not part of that, and I got to go begging and
Not
but
so big words, but yeah. Yeah.
misleading. Yeah, but I don't see God as out there. I see that energy, whatever you want to call it. I'm part of it. It's like going to the beach, and I take this glass of tea I had, and I go to the beach and I put some ocean water in this glass, and I set it down. Wouldn't it be kind of crazy for the ocean water to think I'm not part of the ocean anymore just because I'm in this glass? Well, that's what we taught. That's what we were taught. That
Right.
God
Yeah,
is
yeah,
out
it was.
there,
You're
and
right.
if you don't do right, He's going to punish you. It's like a Santa Claus God. That if you're naughty, I'm going to barbecue you, and if you're nice, I'll reward you. And that may work for some people. I want to be really clear. I'm not trying to knock that,
Yeah, yeah,
but it didn't work for me.
yeah.
It stopped working for me.
Right.
And as I've gotten older and as I've studied, and of course, having my experiences, I don't have a personal God so much. My God is more abstract. First of all, it's not a man or a woman, it's more an energy. I can't really describe it because the finite can never really describe the infinite.
Right.
but
Exactly.
it's more laws for me. Like uh, if I treat you badly, that's going to come back around to me. That's a
Yes.
universal law.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at laws that
Okay.
maybe
I got you.
God or the intelligence is about the laws. And if you follow the laws, your life, you're going to have challenges, but your life will be smooth. It will be smoother. Your interactions will be. If you break those laws, then you're going to have a problem. So that's the only difference I see, that some people's God is out there and not part of them. And
You kind
more
of
new
hit it.
age teachings that we don't, that's not it. It's, and even Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is where? It's within you.
Yeah.
It's within you. And so if it's within me, and what is it? Which Psalm is it? Psalm 81. That you are gods and children of the Most High, and to be able to create is probably the most godlike trait we can have. That and to love, obviously. So that would be the difference.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is a question I've had, and more or less, in my mind, it was just more simpler on why does one pray? Why is it these over here praying to God, and these are doing it meditating, but both of them are going after the actual same thing.
Because there's more than one way to do everything, and
And
that's the thing that some people say, no, you can't. You got to do it my way.
right,
But we're getting the
and
same
they won't
outcome.
even listen to the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting the same outcome. What difference does it make? And so that's a big red. At least it may not be a red flag. It may be a yellow flag.
And let me add this, Gemma. I'm sort of in the same region as you, and I do know the way people believe around here.
Yeah.
And yeah, God can move the mountain, but you got to bring the shovel.
Well, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, some preachers, they do think,
All of them don't. I've had them both ways. I've had some preachers to say that you've got to have the hardships and nothing will come to you. You know, you've got to suffer to get everything. You know, I've had in the same religion I was, one of them to stand on the front porch and claim that a bird was going to bring him a check, and the other one claimed that he's going to have to starve to death before he went to heaven. I've
but
seen
now
it both ways.
at our ages now, though, we know we've seen what worked for other people, and we know that we figure out what works best for us.
Right,
And then
right,
we respect other people for doing what works best for them.
right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah,
Yeah, we
they
do.
have different relationship with their higher being or higher self or God or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you just
yeah,
have
they
to
do.
find what's right for you.
I was curious though, for personal reasons. What I asked you, I've got a friend that is atheist, and she grew up in a church like we did, and she turned on the church altogether. And she says she don't feel anything, but she's attract, attracted to some of the other newer religions um, that don't have anything to do with God or Christ. And I've kind of been trying to talk to her about finding in her heart, going down in her heart, and not what she's learned
But
outside.
how would you know if somebody's Buddhist? How would you know if those particular people don't actually go to where Buddhists believe?
Oh,
It's
I'm sure
not, I
they
mean, it's
do.
not in stone that everybody goes the same
Right.
way or
No.
worships the same God.
Oh, I know. I know that. I'm not. I'm talking about from her view, is what I'm saying. I don't know how to try to say this. She denies any God at all. She don't think God has anything to do with
And
it.
that's probably a lesson for her.
Exactly. And
So,
and I've talked to her, and I've tried to show her that you can love God and you can do all this other stuff too. That you don't have to be proven in front of an audience that you're a Christian. You don't have to you don't have to have a name or be approved by a church group or whatever, or have a list of rules to go by. I've tried telling her that myself, but I can't get through to her.
She's not going to listen because that's in her own head. Reverend Carter, what were you saying?
Oh no,
When
I
you were
agree with
learning
you.
that manifesting was working and you were seeing that it was starting to happen and
Yeah. You know, again, it's just where you put your energy. Like I go to the gym. I swim a mile 4 times a week. 5:30 in the morning, I'm there. And but you know, but you also have your inner muscles. You have your spiritual muscles, if you will. And if you have dreams, if you have goals, in order for you to achieve those goals, right, you have to focus on them like you would anything else. And so when I come down here and sit on my cushion here and meditate, um, some days I just sit there and just I'm quiet for a while. And some days I just hold on, is this plugged in? And some days I visualize what I want, or I'll visualize the kind of day I want to have, and I'll see myself doing certain things. I got this conference coming up in Flint, Michigan, and I'm already seeing myself on the stage, and my message is well received, and I'm meeting new people. My books are going to sell. I'm seeing that, and I'm putting my energy on that. Sometimes it's like 2, 3 minutes. I see it in my head,
and
and then
it's
I go on.
working. It's working. And do you know how
And
I know? Because I see the happiness and the light in you.
mm-hmm,
I don't
mm-hmm.
see fear in you.
No,
I don't
no,
see
no,
unsurety in you.
no.
And
And
that's how
so
you can tell what's working for somebody is how calm they are with it and how happy they seem.
exactly.
And
And
that's
also,
what people want. They want peace in their lives.
well, yeah, and you tell them that they can do it. See, some people will say, "Well, that Reverend Carter can do that. He's special. He sees the extraterrestrials or whatever." No, we can all do that. And so, my job, my mission, and I'm sure about what I'm supposed to be doing on planet Earth until I leave here, is to show people that um, you're more powerful than you think you are. You just have to connect into what that is. And that's different for everybody. And it's okay. Everybody, you can be an atheist, you can be a Christian. Now, that may ruffle some feathers, and that's okay. Because what I say, if that doesn't resonate with you, then you dismiss it. We don't have to fight over it, we don't have to argue over it. I don't have to be right. I'm just saying what works for me. And that has made my life um, uh, really, really worth living. And
I
and
like
we get
that.
in,
Yeah.
and we get into these things, and people kill each other over this stuff, man.
And you're a living example of that, you know?
I'm among other people. And I thank you for saying that. Yeah, I don't have to try to make someone else believe what I believe. They don't have to. Even you plant seeds, and they will grow. Some of them will fall on rocky soil. Some of them will fall. You know what I mean? And it's okay, because those who can hear you will hear you,
Hmm.
and those who don't, doesn't make them bad people. That message wasn't for them,
That's
and
right.
Not
that's
yet.
okay. And that's okay.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's
It's all
okay.
about the timing, right? It's all
It's
about
okay.
timing. They said in sales, or sometimes when you have an idea, like music, whatever, mostly like a
Andrea.
business location, or something. And they say location, 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 right? You remember that?
Yeah.
And I remember for my saying, I added the word and timing. You can have the right location, but if it's the wrong decade, you're not going to go
Wrong
anywhere.
decade.
Well, you had music.
No,
You had
it's
music.
true.
You had
It's
music that
true.
was in the 80s. Most of the 80s music I don't like. I don't have a clue what it's about. There's a few artists that I know and I remember, but never really had a big thing about any kind of music in the 80s. In the late 60s and early 70s, late 70s, and then the 90s, so the 80s I skipped completely. So the thing is, it's all about timing. If you have it timed right and you have a good gig going, you'll make it
I'm
work.
still in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean that in a positive manner when I say a good gig going. I don't mean that in a disrespectful
No,
way.
timing is listen, what I was saying 25 years ago when I was talking about UFOs in the Bible, and I wasn't the only one, and I was having experiences, people laughed and I couldn't talk about it. I mean, I almost lost my job at the church. Someone wanted me fired because they saw me on TV. So I don't want my pastor talking about little green men. Okay, so that was 25 years ago. Now I have some vindication because
Mhm.
it's, now it's in the newspapers, it's in the New York Times, it's in Fox News. The Senate has hearings on it. So it is timing if you can hang around long enough.
Yeah,
25 years ago, I was a nut. Now people want to hear what I have to say about it. So it is, a lot of it is timing.
yeah, I like that. Very nice. I wanted to show your books. Esther sent me some pictures of it, the covers of your books. Which one did you write first? Which one is the first one? Do you remember?
The first book I wrote was Alien Scriptures, which is the most popular one.
Okay.
The second book I wrote was um, A New World If You Can Take It.
Hmm.
That was the second one, God, Extraterrestrials, and the Evolution of Human Consciousness. Now, Esther touched on it. I was getting known as the UFO minister. And my ego was like, well, I do other things. I have other interests. I don't just talk about UFOs. And so I wrote God Consciousness, which is a
Right.
meditation manual. It's a 30-day meditation manual.
I
And
like
there's
that.
atheist writings in here, there's Buddhist, there's Christian, but each day there's a lesson for 30 days. And then I wrote The Metaphysics of Spiritual Healing and Affirmative Prayer. So I got those two books out of my system because I just didn't. I wanted to. I have. I can talk about more than just UFOs, but I'm
Oh yeah.
always interested in spirituality.
I
And then
apologize.
the last book I wrote was a year ago in August, and it was called. It's called Initiation, and this is a book for people who are experiencers, who've seen extraterrestrials, and it's how you can keep your sanity. Um, it tells about there's a lot of data, like if you have a partner, let's say husband, wife, spouse, lover, and he or she is not having the experiences, there's a high rate of divorce and separation because it's very difficult when you're having these experiences and your partner isn't.
Yeah.
And it can break up your relationships. There's a chapter in it on how you may be able to tell if you have been visited. It's like a handbook. So that this is the last book I wrote. It's a guide for contact experiencers.
And all these books are on Amazon.
Amazon and Barnes and Nobles.
It's posted on the ERRT page.
Well, thank you for doing that. Yeah,
Yeah. Or radio shows.
We made you an honorary Earthling.
Yeah.
You're an Earthling now.
I'm in early. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
We're gonna get
welcome.
some. I think we'll get some T-shirts made like that. There you go.
Thank you.
And yeah. So everyone that comes on our show and they're part of our family,
He's part of
you're
our
yeah,
family.
yeah. You're
Well, I
you're an
thank you.
Earthling.
I
So
thank you
all
for
these
having
people
me.
in chat, all the people in chat, Marco, Papa Tom, Venus, Maria,
Yeah, spoke to
everyone.
him.
Everyone that comes by here, and we know they're all very smart in what they do, and they're very smart in what they know. Some don't want to talk very much about it still. They're a little bit skeptical about opening up.
Mhm.
But I think I couldn't get those pictures to work, Esther. I don't know if you can. I tried. I failed. I'm still
Well,
learning.
I
He
mean, they're
showed, he
not
showed it.
uploaded to my computer. They're on my phone. So
he showed us the covers already, so I think we're good.
The
I want
Yeah,
that.
and they can, like I said, if they go to Amazon
I
and
got the
type
link
in
on there.
Michael J.S. Carter,
Okay.
the books will come up. Or my
Hmm.
website is michaeljscarter.com, and they can find out.
And so what I've been doing personally on the balancing the chakras that I made mention earlier, Esther has been sharing some frequency healing stuff, different frequencies that can heal, and different things. And I've been finding stuff that she didn't share, didn't see, and I shared it with her. And so some of the ones that I was listening to, though, like the other night, it was 4 o'clock and I couldn't go to sleep in the morning, and it was like I can't go to sleep, and I already taken my medication and go to sleep, and I'm still wide awake. I don't know why. I just had so much on my mind, I guess.
Hmm.
But then I remembered, wait, I'll try this other frequency thing, right? So I did that, and I listened to it, and I had the computer on my lap. Of course, the screen was bright, but it had the color of the video going, no big deal. But I was listening more to the sound and going to sleep. And I got about probably 3 hours of sleep, but it was really good sleep because I was actually able to relax finally. So that was the main thing. So that's kind of what's happening with me is that I'm learning different frequencies, the tools I can use, and that's not weird. Some people say, "Oh, that's evil. That's gonna brainwash you or whatever." No, no, it ain't. It's
Yeah,
gonna help.
we did some clearing bad negative
Yeah,
energies out.
yeah. And
Um,
I had a friend of mine do a healing session with me last night, actually, in her show. I don't know if you know Julie Ann Guthrie Smolson.
No, I don't.
Spiritual alchemy
Yeah.
energy is her
She did
podcast.
a healing session with me on her live show, which was pretty interesting. And like you've done a personal one for me, Reverend, and I don't mind if anyone has gifts that they have the abilities. Hey, send them my way. I'll take it. I'll take all the help I can get. I'll still pray to God now. Don't get me wrong. I'll still go to the doctor. I'll still do that stuff. But if I can get any help along the way, I'll take the whatever advice or spiritual energy I can get, and try to help me out. Now, as she was doing her work, I noticed I could sense. Again, we have a connection. I don't know why. Julie's way on the west coast someplace. She's 2,000 miles away from me, right? But yet, when she was doing the work, I could feel the work being done. That make any sense?
Yeah.
So when she was working the different chakra points, and she got to the stomach, I could feel like the needle points in my stomach and feel a tightening in my stomach. That wasn't me tightening. That was her working in there, working on stuff. I don't know exactly how to explain that unless you feel that or sense it at some point when you go through that process. I think you know what I'm talking about, though, with the Reiki
Hmm.
healing. And so I felt really good, and I actually went to sleep a little early uh, earlier this morning, like at 12:30 maybe or so, but that's normal. That's early for me. Okay, maybe late for some, but early for me. But I went about 12:30 or so, and I just fell asleep. And then I woke up like 7. I have this crazy alarm that goes off by itself. I don't know why, but it goes off. And it went off. I heard it go off, and I woke up and I went back to sleep, and it was 8:30. I looked at the clock, it said 8:30. Then I looked at the clock again. It was 9:30. Well, I'm supposed to be doing a music show at 9 o'clock. My morning show at 9 o'clock in the morning. No, nobody's there, but usually Bobby. But I sit there and play music for a couple hours because, well, I like to play music. So um, I
But you know what, Ron?
what happened that hour though. That hour I was gone.
You know what? These frequencies and tones,
Yeah,
people a long, long time ago figured out that's how you go into a trance and you're able to communicate, with your God or whoever it is. I mean, it's all over
yeah,
ancient aliens, right?
yeah.
Reverend
Now,
Carter. They
Would you?
built these chambers and the tones and frequencies, and it would put them in a trance to where they could communicate with on a
Well, yeah,
spiritual level.
well, you could communicate with other realities. Yeah,
It's not
and,
new. It's not new. The tone
no,
and
not at
frequencies.
all. Not at all. None of this
Wasn't
is
there a
new.
tone that David was taught in the Bible, or is that right? Uh,
There's a
there was
That
song
I
about
don't.
him.
a chord.
That I don't know.
I
He
think it
wrote
was.
all the
As a matter
songs.
of fact, the song "Hallelujah" references it. Says that there was a chord that was pleasing to the Lord.
My
That
friend Nora knows that chord. Yeah.
does she? I'd
hmm
like to hear that sometime. I've never
When
heard
I get
nobody.
in touch with her, I'll ask her for you.
Yes, ask her. Sorry about that. I just thought of it when y'all
No,
said
that's
Yeah.
all right. No, no, it's an open round table. We can talk when we want.
She's talking about that song, Hallelujah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
and
never heard it preached, Reverend, but I have read that there was one.
But the ancient people, I mean, they knew to do the drum beats and to put their brain in that state of mind to where they could communicate with their gods.
Yeah. Chanting will do that. Music is the healing force. People use it.
It's part of our
People
experience.
use color to heal. Sound.
DMT helps, they say.
Yeah. 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 It's a lot of stuff that's used.
Helps
Yeah.
what?
they,
now, now you were talking about manifestation was the topic, of course, and we always go off track
That's
on this
right.
show.
That's right.
yeah.
But guys, it's not that much more you can say about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I wanted to ask you about the
yeah,
manifestation. Well, the manifestation of seeing UFOs, for instance. And I'll tell you why I'm asking this. All right. Here's why I ask this. All right. Now, in the last few weeks, maybe the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, I've been visualizing certain characteristics of what these spacecrafts are, these alien crafts. All right. Now, I personally only have spotted one on video that I didn't really see when I was taking it, but it was pointed out to me afterwards. And sure enough, it's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. And it was miles away and it went way high in the sky, and I couldn't tell exactly what it. Always fuzzy, every time. And so anyway, and in my vision, though, here's what I got the message of. And anybody that's watching me tonight will probably be talking to me tomorrow at the door or whatever. You can't talk about that or whatever, But anyway, haven't had anyone knock on the door yet, so we can talk about it tonight. I got 4 main motherships. Now the motherships are huge ships moored or stationed in the 4 points of the earth: north, south, east, and west.
They've
Okay,
been there a long time. We've
they've been
had
there
those
a
a
long
long
time.
time.
4 corners of the earth, if you want to, whatever you want to call it, about that. And then from the motherships come out these scouts. Now there are different shapes and sizes of these scouts. The huge triangle that you see, the one that I visualize, and the one that Tom has probably seen in Minnesota here. He's up northern Minnesota, and I'm in southwestern Minnesota. And anyway, the one that I had in my vision, it was the triangle, the side of the triangle from point to point is as wide as the football field,
Good
a
night,
regular
Maria.
football field. Okay. Now, its height is anywhere from 5 to 10 stories high. And those triangles are actually troop movers. Now, you can take that one of 2 ways. They're either troops coming from them to take over Earth, or they're taking us to go to them somewhere. Okay, that's my vision. So in other words, it can carry a whole lot of people or beings, whatever. And then the other craft that we see, which one crashed in Roswell, that was a disc shape. All right. I think there was more than 3 aliens on that craft, but there was only 3 that got discovered in the findings of that investigation. Okay. And so I think there was more than 3 though. They got away, and 3 didn't make it, unfortunately. But the thing is, those disc-shaped craft that we see, those are scouts. Those are scouts to the triangle, but they all go to the mothership on different points of the planet. All right, you see what I'm saying? Now, these ships are not visible to us in reality because our eyes don't see that light wave. Okay, they're not cloaking it, our eyes just don't see their light wave. Okay, now they don't have lights on their ship for navigation. Those lights on the ship, if there are any, it's for our distraction. Okay, when you see all the flashing lights on a spacecraft, it's cute and all that stuff, but by that time you're distracted and it goes away. It's gone. Right? So the minute you're distracted, it disappears. And that's how they do it. Now the thing is they're here all the time, all over the world. They're in the sky. We can't see them because they're in a different wavelength. They're on our plane, they're on our universe, they're in our time frame, but they're on a different wavelength. Okay? Because I feel the energy. And so go ahead.
Reverend, when you had entities visit you as your contactee, did they give you any kind of profound?
No, nothing profound,
No.
because there's nothing else to tell you. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's nothing else to tell you.
Right.
Could they say like we're from Sirius or?
No, they did not. They did not. One of them told me, the reptilian gentleman, this one here, told me that I was going to be rich and famous, but that has not happened. The first thing he said was, "Don't be afraid," which was
Well,
what
you're
they
pretty famous.
all kind of say. Well, I didn't know. I don't know if I'm famous, but that was interesting that he said that. But he also said it through telepathy, because his mouth, we didn't talk face, like I'm talking to you. But to answer your question, no, nothing profound. They showed me a past life that I had. They showed me an event that was going to happen, but it was more of a personal event. And it did happen, me speaking in front of a certain audience at the time, that hadn't happened yet. They really encouraged me to do the energy healing, but there was no profound message, because there is nothing else. There's nothing else that we have to learn to love. I mean, it's not sexy, but it's nothing else new. We're destroying our planet. We're a very immature species. We're not evolved. We're a danger to ourselves and to them. Nothing you haven't heard before. And in some ways, why would they give us something new when we haven't even grasped what they've already given us?
That's
Why
true.
do they stick around? I mean, why don't they do something? I mean, after all these years, if they're here to help us, we haven't we haven't listened. Why hadn't they been
There's
more
things in
of them?
place that won't let them. They can't.
I can't speak for all the races. Some of them are not here to help us, but they're
Yeah.
not here to harm us. Some of them are just here to observe. Some of
Don't
them
you
may
feel
be.
like? Do you feel like some of
I'm
them's
trying.
been
Let
here
me.
the whole time? I'm sorry.
No, some of them may have a prime directive. Some don't. So it's not like a group of they. It's so many different races, and as far as helping us, when you have a child who doesn't behave,
Gotta let them get
you
themselves hurt.
you got to let them do what they have to do, because otherwise you don't have accountability.
Don't
You
you
don't have
figure some?
accountability.
Don't you figure some of them's been around here though from the very beginning?
Some of them have been here for millions of years,
Yeah.
and their technology it's a whole different physics than we're even used to.
I wish
Um,
they'd get better UFOs, because the ones we keep seeing are the same dang models of the ones that was coming out in the 40s and 50s. Well,
well, we don't know. We don't know if they're theirs or ours.
but that's
So,
right. I agree with
well,
you there.
yeah,
I kind
some
of
of them
think they
may be
may be the.
ours, but I
That's what.
mean, but they work.
Yeah,
They work. It
they
gets
get
them.
our
It gets
attention
them
though.
where they need to be. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Gemma, you should listen to Jesse Pink's interview from today.
Oh, I hadn't heard it.
Yeah, it's a lot of the the technical ways that things work.
I need to
Um,
listen to it because
yeah.
that's been kind of a question for me because I'm like he said, I'm beginning to wonder if those things ain't just sitting under the ocean somewhere and been there for a good
I
while.
mean, people think they live under the ocean. Some people think they live inside of the earth. Eh,
Yeah, I'm
Who
beginning to
knows?
even go from
Who
there.
knows? You know.
But I agree with I agree with y'all though. I also think it's we're looking at a lot of stuff that's other dimension, that's a dimensional thing that we've not got access to yet, whether or not evolved or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's got
And so the main point that I had for that comment that I made is that I believe that they only show themselves to those who need to see them.
I kind of agree with you there. I woke up like 15 years ago, and before that, I'd never even thought about a UFO. And one day I woke up, and next thing I knew, I was binging Ancient Aliens and researching everything I could get a hold of on them. I was obsessed with it.
Yep, there's a question from Julie.
Yeah, do I believe there are some alien forces here that are doing us harm or manipulating us? I don't know. I do know there are human beings doing that. I do know there are forces in my own government that are doing that.
That's
So
true.
I'm more concerned about that than I am of someone else doing it. So that's the best answer I can give. I don't know if that's true, um, but I do know there are human beings doing the same thing that are pitting us against each other. And I'm more concerned about that than
Mm-hmm.
I am about some off world influences.
Hey, Julie, you snuck in.
She was listening over there on Facebook and she
Yeah,
popped in over here. So
that's interesting.
yeah, I like that. And so now to manifest, if should we be concerned about manifesting the contact, the physical contact I'm talking about, or should we let that just kind of play its own course?
I think that's an individual decision. I
Yeah,
don't I don't get into CE5s. I don't go out in the cold or when
right.
it's real hot. I don't need to do that. I think it's really more about intent. What is your purpose for doing it? Is it a parlor game? If you just want to say, I'm in the club too, of the people who've seen them, because there are people who do that. Um, it's more about your intent. For me, this is bigger than just lights in the sky. Um, people are into back engineering and that kind of thing, and I think that's beautiful. It's just not where I'm coming from. I think this is more about a spiritual transformation if we want to save our planet and save our species. And so for me to say, oh, look, I called in, look at those lights up there. It's cute, but what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what if they had to load us all up and move us to Mars? I mean, what kind of planet would that be?
We'd be in trouble.
People
I have
need
no,
to take care of this planet, and I'm
I,
talking
yeah,
about a lot of factories,
I have no
you
idea what
know,
that would be like.
I would stay
uh,
here though. I would stay here for the
des-
gold.
desolate nothingness. Um,
Yeah, I couldn't get some sleep then. Nobody would be here.
they had a backpack thing that sucks from the air around you on Mars, and it turns it into oxygen. I'm not sure how it does that, but it does it. Something new.
Yeah.
We got to take care of our planet. We got to.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of places to look for gold if I was the only one here. How would I get?
What
How would
would
I
you
get?
do with it though?
I
Just
just have it.
pile it up.
I just have it. And then when the Anunnaki come back here, I got their pay. I said, hey, look, I've been doing the work for you. Here you go.
You're
I
not a
got.
gold. You're not a gold miner, are you?
I am. Yeah, I am
I am
actually.
too.
Oh, there you
He's a
go.
prospector.
Yeah, I was the GPAA secretary for
Yeah,
East Tennessee for
I'm
years.
a lifetime LDMA member.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So,
Small
um,
world, I guess.
oh
Amen.
yeah. Well,
Well,
it turns
y'all,
out.
I mean, you're right up there in Tennessee where there's lots of stuff to mine for.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we ran a gold mining camp on the border of North Carolina for about 5 years. That's a lot of fun, man. People get
Yeah.
serious about those little bitty specks.
Yeah.
Well, now see now that the North Carolina was where it actually officially started. Everyone thinks it's California and the '49 gold rush. No, it's actually
Uh,
North Carolina was first.
yeah, Coca Creek
According to
was where we
history.
was at, and it
Yeah.
had a big bunch. That's where our claim was.
And the
And
funny thing is that I lived in I was born and raised in California though, and lived in Sacramento area and everything. Lived right on, well, within walking distance of the American River where gold is. But did I look for gold then? No, I didn't. I moved to North Carolina, lived there for 9 years, and there's gold in North Carolina. Did I look
oh,
for
the creek,
gold there?
oh, beautiful.
Now,
Did I look?
Reverend Carter, is there anything you can tell us about the upcoming
Oh yeah.
episodes of Ancient Aliens that you went and worked on?
Yeah, we did an episode on. Uh, it was about the first one was about the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia. Is it really there?
Is it?
And I don't know. You know, allegedly it is there.
I think
It's in a church called Our Lady Mary of Zion.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of fighting around there. There's a civil war going on there, so there's a lot of artifacts and stuff there. Um, and so the first show was about, just investigating, how it got there. Allegedly, it got there when Babylon had conquered Jerusalem. The Queen of Sheba and Solomon, their son,
Lammy.
brought brought it back to allegedly to Ethiopia. The
Okay.
second the second show is about the power of the obelisks. They're all over the world: Cairo, Washington, New York,
Mm-hmm.
Paris, and trying to figure out what about this symbol is very phallic, um, attracts people, intrigues people. There's been an archaeological dig in Karahan Tepe in Turkey, and there's all these obelisks. It's a lot of phallic symbols there, which they think were used for fertility rites. There's some illustrations of beings who have 6 fingers, 7 fingers, 8 fingers. They're giants, and so it's starting to rewrite. We may have to rewrite our history.
I
Uh,
wonder if that's where the Watchers fell to and started, or
They
whatever.
went everywhere.
Yeah,
yeah, they may have. I mean, they were certainly. It's certainly possible they were there. The Bible talks about this race of giants who mated with earth women, and then their offspring were giants, but they had more than 5 digits on their fingers and toes, and so that's what the shows are about.
Hmm.
So that's why I had to flood the world and kill them all. Start over.
well, they
Yeah.
were still here after the flood, though, because or at least some of them was, because one, what's his face, the guy, uh, I know at least one. Well, David and Goliath,
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, and
yeah,
and
Um,
Gilgamesh. That's who I'm trying to think of. Gilgamesh was
yeah.
from
The Epic of Gilgamesh, which predates our Bible. I mean,
right,
some of the stories from the Bible were taken from
but
Gilgamesh.
he was after the flood, wasn't he, Reverend?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And uh, the Book of Enoch goes more into detail about that, about
Yeah.
Genesis 6:4. Yeah, yeah. And there were giants in the land of Canaan
Yeah.
Hmm.
as well.
That's
So
interesting. Love that.
I seen one of the episodes about the obelisk, and it's got to do with so much granite flowing through it from the earth. Like the deeper they buried it, the more power can flow up through it.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, I'm
it's
sure that
quartz,
has.
and quartz just multiplies energy.
Yeah, it's and they were also symbolic. You know, they look like rocket ships, and they're going up. It's a symbol that means a lot. It's striving. I mean, the Tower of Babel could very well have been a rocket ship. So it just
Mhm.
conjures up these kind of otherworldly type of ideas and feelings. So that's what's being explored in those episodes.
One of the
Mm.
theories they have is that Stonehenge was a recharging station for UFOs.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories out there. There's not a lot of evidence, but the thing about Ancient Aliens is because I know people who hate the show. I have I have a colleague who does. He says because it's not as scientific as he would like, and one could argue that. The point is, though, at least to my mind, is that it's gotten people thinking
Yes.
about that we're not alone,
Great.
and what if this is real? And so that's the thing, and that's the whole point. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously they're popular. The show is popular. It's been on for 15 seasons, and it's
Well,
not
it's
going
so
to.
thought provoking because I mean, even though it
That's
might not be
exactly.
scientific proof, there is a lot of things that are
Well, that's my
almost
point. Yeah,
proof.
that's my point.
Yeah,
That's my point. It's gotten people to think, what if?
This
And
is
that's
so,
right.
you
people
use
don't
your
find a lot
imagination.
of the stuff. They're not
And
taught
it
this
might
stuff.
be part of disclosure.
And how do you fit 2 hours of information into a 1 hour show? That's the other problem. Okay,
Mm.
and that's challenging. How you can fit 2 hours of info into a 1 hour show. So you got to kind of take what the good and the bad with the information, make it a 1 hour show, right?
I don't know that they're trying to fit 2 hours in. I just
No,
think they're
but
trying
but
to make.
no, you know what I mean. Though there's just so much information we can fit in a 1 hour show.
Well, but that's the point. That's why they stretch it out. That's why they've been on for
Okay,
15 seasons. Yeah,
but
that's
for
why
those
they've been on for so long.
who
Um,
kind of say the question or ask the question, oh, it's not scientific enough. Well, could you imagine if you went into all the detail? That's what I'm getting at. If you went into all the detail about, say, like if you wanted to study the sun, for instance, oh, let's look at the sun very very close and try to get all the answers of the sun. You wouldn't get done in even 2 hours. You'd be about 5 hours, and you'd just be
yeah,
getting
yeah,
the start of
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, they've been good to me, and I
They got
enjoy.
people thinking and
I
talking.
enjoy
That's
going out there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think when this person was saying it wasn't scientific enough, it's that they feel that it goes too far, that everything is extraterrestrial related, and sometimes it isn't. And that may be true. But again, as we were saying, it's gotten people to think, and that's all you want to do is get people to get out of the box.
And some people ain't ready to think about what if.
That's very true.
Well, I
You know,
am. I'm ready. Let's
that's
go.
kind of a big deal. So,
That's very
yeah,
true.
like my kids who will not talk about it or will not watch it or will not discuss the subject at all.
right, and we're crazy for talking about it. I know. That's okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well,
It's all right.
yeah, we're trying to expand our awareness here on my radio station, on Earth Radio. That's what I'm trying to do, is expand our awareness, and that's of any subject. We're not choosy about what we talk about, and so everybody is of different backgrounds, different religions, different upbringing, with their childhood or whatever. And I mean, heck, I remember, Michael, you remember growing up, we only had a TV that had like maybe two channels, if you're lucky, three if you got the public channel,
That
at least
was me too, Ron.
Dude,
in California. And
Pliers to turn the channel.
yeah, and so you had to get up out of your chair to go turn the channel while Dad sat in the recliner, and he said, "Go change the channel."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you had to adjust the antenna to make sure it was just right.
Yeah.
And then when
That's
you had
exactly
the roof
right.
antenna with the rotary thing, you had to turn the dial to make sure it just got dialed in just
We
right.
didn't do it by hand. We
Yeah.
didn't have the rotary thing for a
Yeah.
long time.
Those were back in the day.
But yeah, that was all fun, and so my goal here is to get us to think about what's going on with us now, and that's on all levels of thinking. I'm getting pretty good at reading, card readings. You know what those are, Michael? Tarot cards
Yeah.
and oracle cards,
Yes.
and I knew you knew what they were. And what do you think about those? Do you think they're good, bad, or they're
No,
nonsense?
I don't think there's anything bad about them at all.
Okay.
I think they can be a powerful tool. I started out reading tarot cards when I was
Yeah.
trying to enhance my intuition. No, I think it's a wonderful tool.
All right. Esther, what do you think? You want to do some card reading? You knew I was going to ask you that, right?
I don't know.
Manifestation, we
We
got to
still
do
got
the card
45
reading.
minutes. Still got 45 minutes.
Yeah, are
I'm
we,
just thinking about how as people here on this
yeah,
planet, we have to remain open-minded and flexible because there
yeah,
is for sure things out there that come here, and people are going to have to deal with that. And then we have somebody like Reverend Carter, that'll come in and we know he knows what he's talking about because
oh
he
yeah,
does the
yeah,
aliens and stuff. So without people like him, that would just tell the general public, we would still be sitting in the dark ages.
man, we'd be turned off every time we opened our mouths. They did.
Yeah,
Shut us up.
But remember, guys, ladies, we talked about timing,
it's a big
and this
deal though.
and
The
this is
time
the
you
time.
give.
This is the time.
Hmm.
I'm sure all of you have been talking about this and thinking about it for at least 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
But now, and back then, you probably thought you were even nuttier. But right now, look at all these podcasts, look at all these shows. And so, again, it's timing. If you could persevere, I mean, some folk probably gave up along the way. Doesn't mean bad people, but we're right now at the time in history where, I mean, our government, even though they're not being as transparent or honest as we would like them to be, but our government is talking about pretty much that we aren't alone. Now there's a lot of subterfuge and a lot of BS going on as well. But
yeah,
this is the time in history. And so the things that we were talking about and people laughed at us, they come to fruition now. So, it's an exciting, at least for me, it's an exciting time to be alive. I think that, again, for me, I'm not hanging on for disclosure in the sense of I don't expect my government who lied to me for over 70 years to all of a sudden be truthful. It's like waiting for someone to
right.
tell you that the sky is blue when you already know it's blue. I don't need you to tell me it's blue, but it's still the time that we as a species we can destroy ourselves, which we may do.
Yeah,
That is a real possibility of a nuclear exchange, for instance, in our lifetime. It's a real possibility in the next 20 years, maybe less, that an asteroid takes us out. Those are real possible, and of course, there's climate change. But we also have a chance to say the old way of doing things is not working. We want to move into a world more of cooperation versus competition.
mm-hmm.
Empires rise and fall. The United States is not going to be the most powerful nation on the earth forever because that's just not the way history works. And we have a time that we can stop fighting over petty stuff, who you sleep with, what color your skin is. That's because otherwise we can't evolve.
All right.
and so we're just like we're like little babies playing with a gun. We're going to destroy ourselves, and if it's going to be a nuclear exchange, that's why we have a lot of these visitations. Because when you split the atom, not only does it reverberate on your planet, but it also in other dimensions and on other planets. And so it's like having a neighbor down the street, us, who are noisy and belligerent, and we're shooting
Yeah.
guns and whatever in the sky. And more evolved neighbors or people will say, "We need to watch these folks. These people are dangerous."
That's
Yeah.
And
right.
that's where we find ourselves now.
Yeah. And
I
I
mean, we
always,
have nuclear weapons pointed at ourselves. That's how unintelligent we are
yeah.
as a species. I'm not talking about individuals. So, we have to be watched.
Yeah. Or we're going in to destroy a nuclear plant that somebody has, which would essentially hurt the whole planet, if that happens, you know. And anyway, I always say this little line. I say the radio or the podcast or internet shows, whatever. Um, it's not a competition. It's a community, not a competition. That's what I mean. It's a community, not a competition. So we're all working together to get the same message out. And for anyone that's not trying to help get a message out that's helping somebody, then they don't need to be talking on the radio. Just my personal opinion. We all have to be working together, though, to get the message out of whatever we're talking about. It doesn't matter what. Okay? Don't say, oh, well, that guy don't know what he's talking about over there. I just might have one little thing that I know what I'm talking about. It could turn somebody's mind around, right?
Yeah, because I mean, sooner or later, somebody had to grow balls and say it. You
Yeah,
know, it
yeah,
had to happen.
yeah. And what I like about the incident that we just went through, I don't want to use the wrong word, so I'll say the incident. That can mean anything, but we all know what I mean by the incident. We were all locked down for 2 years, and couldn't go to work. You couldn't go anywhere, and so I call it the incident. That way they don't ban me for saying the wrong word. And anyway, this whole podcasting thing, which I've been doing, right? I've already been doing it all this time, and all of a sudden I got all these other people that are doing it. Like, well, okay, well, this is actually helping me overall, because now that people are actually seeing me now, because they're home watching the videos and things like that, and so it kind of helped me along in a really good way. And then I didn't really feel so weird that other people were going out to go to work where I was trying to work at home. And then when they told me, well, you got to work at home now, I'm already working at home. I've been working at home for I don't know how many years, So it's been kind of crazy to watch this evolve like this,
Mhm.
And some people are complaining about it. I'm like, there ain't really no difference here for me. I'm doing the same thing I've been doing. So, and I just got more people watching me now because they're all home at the same time.
But
Which
you
is
know
good.
what? You know what? In this day and time, it's good that people have a platform to reach
Yeah,
other people because we've
yeah,
not
that's
always
true.
had this. And like experiencers and people involved in the hybrid program and stuff, we can't just let Reverend Carter try to tell everybody. If we know it's true and we experienced it, we have to do our part,
Yeah,
you know?
and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we might get called names or whatever,
Yeah,
but
and
I mean,
whenever,
I feel
yeah,
like we can't move to the next level until people get it. They just don't get
yeah,
it. They don't get it.
I don't think they
and
want to get it right now. I just don't think they want to face it. They got too much going on in the world
right,
now with their life,
But time ain't
and they
gonna stop it. It's not gonna wait for them.
no, but they're just. I guess they just. I think they just. As far as my kids as an example, I think it's like, well, that's something we'll discuss if the time ever happens. Right now, we got enough on our minds not to have to worry about that.
and
It's
that's
not
okay.
gonna wait.
Let them wait.
Well, that's good. At least somebody's watching. You know,
Yeah,
thinking maybe after our generation is gone, these kids are hearing what we're saying, so
hmm,
their time is coming up next. They're at least going to know. They're at least going to pick up where we left off.
right.
It's
I
more than
like that.
But imagine if it was the 60s. You know, we'd have a telephone hanging on the wall and a TV that picked up, what, 3 channels?
right,
Yeah.
right.
How
That's
would
better than
anybody
what
know?
we
You
have.
know, you couldn't even tell somebody if it did happen unless you called the police. That's what they did.
We had to wake up with an obsession of it or see something before it ever got our attention.
No, if we tried to call the police for a problem, we'd have somebody on the party line talking about whatever they were talking about.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
We
how
have
that
all
sure
went.
the
do.
tools and resources and manpower. We just got to have, people that'll listen.
Well, yeah, but with the party line, that was you didn't have to do nothing else. Just say it one time, the whole neighborhood had it.
Right. But yeah, so that wouldn't really work too well. But no, we pretty much took care of our own self when we had problems, and we didn't have very many problems when that happened, you know. So people kind of learned, well, you don't mess with them people.
Well, now there
Don't.
was a crash in Aurora, Texas in 1897 at a judge's house. And that did
Really?
come out in the newspaper. There is a record of that. They gave it a burial.
Yeah.
You
And
They
know,
had a
what kind of craft? It was an airplane
it
crash.
was a UFO.
Oh,
It hit
UFO.
a judge's windmill and crashed.
And that was
It
the
Oh,
said
one, and that was one that they have it fenced off finally. I think they got it all fenced off, and it has a little shack there, right? Somebody made a
no, but
little
they
shack.
put the pieces down in a well, and later on, this man opened the well and used it, and he got like all kind of deformed joints and
Oh
bones
wow,
and stuff.
you know.
wow.
But it was 1897. They just put the wreckage down in the well.
That's
So,
we.
what do you think about the airships of the late 1700s, early 1800s, the big
I,
airships?
I don't think anything of them.
And
Steampunk.
I don't know enough about them to.
you know,
Oh,
well, it was something that there shouldn't be any airships there. I mean, like it was like a modern day blimp, but it was back then. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the
wasn't like
Hindenburg blew up, didn't it?
yeah, yeah. But that's because they didn't quite have the right formula to keep it stable.
when I
So
was a kid, my I can remember I couldn't have been over 8 or 9 years old. I remember my mother and her family. We lived on the river, on Tennessee River, and I remember when they would all get together and walk down to the bridge of the night, and
hmm
they would go down to the bridge to look at this light. And we lived in town; they were all on the river. And I can remember my mama getting ready and going down to meet my cousin. They would all gather and would all walk to this bridge. I grew up thinking about that because none of my cousins or anybody ever mentioned it. And a few years ago, it came back to me thinking about it, and I'd asked my cousin. I said, "Did y'all?" I was, studying UFOs and researching it, and I said, "Did y'all ever find out what that light was that was hovering over the river?" And she looked at me real blank. She said, "I don't remember that." And I said, "Well, I know it did." I said, "There was a whole bunch of you out there. We all talked about it." And that aggravated me till I went back and asked nearly every one of them. About half of them remembered it, and the other half didn't. And I thought that was so strange. And one of my cousins that did remember it, she said she remembered it, but she said they never did think a thing about it. And she said, said honestly, now I don't know what it was. And it got her to thinking about it again. She said, I don't even think we ever looked into what it was.
right.
But that made me wonder, we may have had more UFO encounters than what we even knew
And
back.
that's in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was
And
right over Tennessee.
Zima, I know you've seen that painting of Jesus being
Yeah,
baptized and the UFO shining the light down on him.
I've seen quite a few of them back.
That's way, way, way long time ago. They've been here forever.
Well,
They
this
probably
wasn't
put us here.
right. This was just a light, and they would all go down just like clockwork to
But
where
then
this
some
light.
didn't remember it. That's odd.
Well, there was a few of them did. I got a hold of all of them. It drove me crazy when I first heard about it, and I thought, well, maybe I'm remembering it because I didn't go all that many times. My mama went.
There
And
were,
Yeah.
yeah.
the only thing I can figure out is possibly maybe that was just kind of how they had it in their minds because we didn't have TV back then, or everybody didn't, or if we were down. I mean, we're very rural, and
Yeah.
it was just word of mouth everywhere. So maybe there was a way to stick it in their heads or in our heads back then. I don't know.
You know, there's up here at Brown Mountain, there's Brown Mountain lights, and people go all the time and watch them.
I
They don't know
remember
what they are, but they come see them.
hmm
Nobody studied them or
that is that
wanted.
South Carolina.
And then,
No, it's about 2 hours from here
yeah.
at Brown
And
Mountain, North Carolina.
Yeah, I know where that is. I've heard of that. That's
Yeah.
right over. Yeah.
I was going to say about the, I can't remember if there was a show that I watched, a movie, or maybe it was a UFO story, but there was a lot of people on the highway that saw a UFO, and then they all, next thing they know, they're all getting off the next exit at the, restaurant that's right there,
Wow.
and they're all saying, well, "Why did you come here?" I don't know. I just felt like I was hungry all of a sudden. Everybody was hungry. Some of them had stopped off on the side of the road to try to get a picture of it or whatever. Couldn't get any picture of it, but they all didn't know why they were going to this restaurant. So I think sometimes what happens is that those who are meant to remember it, they keep it retained.
Yeah.
Those who do not remember it, they're not meant to remember it at the moment. Now later on in life, they might have a memory of it. And I would encourage anyone that is wondering about that, get a regression session with somebody that knows what they're doing. They can find out what is happening with that memory. Okay. And if it's really bugging someone, well, I don't remember that, or I forgot, so I forgot this, or I forgot. Why am I forgetting everything? Go get checked out by somebody that has the certification for doing a regression therapy. And
Reverend
believe me,
Carter, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm fine. I mean, I
Um,
don't mind if we.
do you want to? Do you want to? Do you want an angel wisdom tarot card?
You're going to do a reading?
she does. She does. We
Oh, okay.
both do good readings.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Why
read the
not?
card. I
Yeah.
ain't great at it.
Yeah. That's fine.
It's
Hi,
something to do.
Lorraine's here. Our friend Lorraine is here. She's
Unless
in
you wanted to
Canada.
talk about some more,
I think
what
we
we'd switch
covered.
gears,
I think we covered everything, didn't we,
Yeah, I
Michael?
think we covered it, Esther. I mean, I don't mind ending a little early. I'll probably get some sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't get no sleep.
No, I was up. I was up early. I went swimming, like I told you. I'm in the pool at 5:30. But like I said, we had a lot at the top of the show. Actually, before the show, we've had a few deaths in the church, so it's been a long day
Oh
planning
wow.
Yeah.
services for people, and
Well, praying for them
it was
families.
a busy day today. So, I mean, I can stay till 10, or we can end it
Okay.
early. Either
Well,
way.
If you're tired and you had a long day, I'll just read you this card and
let her do one, and I got one for you from my special deck. So we'll
All
do
right,
two
I
readings
appreciate
for
it.
you.
Yeah, and then I'll,
Yeah.
we'll do it
anybody
again.
that thinks this is evil, don't pay me no attention. It's not.
Well, Reverend, I hope I didn't keep you or bore you. I'm sorry. This was my first time on, and I
Not
It's
at
her
all,
first
Jenna.
time.
No problem.
First time.
It
So
was
you
great.
got wise counselor, unity with a spiritually minded community. Ask the divine for help and trust the answers will come. Compare traditional methods with new ideas to see which is best for you.
Wow,
And
that's
that's
pretty
your
nice.
Now
Yeah,
I have a deck here
thank
called
you.
You're welcome.
Psychic Development by
Uh-huh.
Tana Newberry. She's a tarot or oracle card designer and reader and all that kind of stuff. And I do these cards pretty well. What is your root number or your life path number? Do you know?
Yeah, my
Numerology.
life path is 11. Um,
So
I
that
was
would be
born,
two.
I was born in a 22 year, 1957. But
What,
my
what,
life path is 11 in numerology.
yeah, and then if you add those together, that'd be two, right?
Actually, no, because you don't break down the master numbers 11, 22, 33.
Oh, okay, okay. So
You don't,
11
you
is
don't
it.
break those down in
I'm not going
numerology.
to shuffle 55 cards 11 times. We'll be here about 10:30. I'll be reading. But anyway, we'll go ahead and shuffle it there. That's enough. I got it. I got the right one here. And then, okay.
I'm getting stronger. Wow.
And that's number
54,
54.
which is 9.
You're getting stronger.
Yeah, which is 9.
So there you go.
I
So,
feel that way. I think both those cards, they did resonate with me.
and see what we do is she'll
It's
read
beautiful.
one.
Thank you both.
Yeah, and she'll read
You're
one,
welcome.
and I'll read one or two of mine, and usually we'll have the same message. And we don't plan this. This is
No,
something we do,
no, it's just
and we're connected in that way. We have a really
yeah.
good message for people when they want to hear it. Gemma, do you want to reading? You want a card?
I don't know how.
I'm
Just
gonna go. I'm
all
gonna
right.
go.
Thank you,
Ryan.
Michael. Thank you.
Listen, Reverend Carter, we appreciate you coming and spending your time and speaking with us, and
And we'll do it again.
And
it
come,
was very
yeah,
enlightening. Thank you for coming.
you're always welcome. And when you get done with your Michigan conference, right? You got that coming
Right.
up in September.
Yeah, that's the 23rd,
23rd.
24th, 25th.
Yeah. So
And
come
then
on back after you get done with that,
I'll come back afterwards and we'll
or
talk.
October, and we can talk all about Halloween and everything, right?
We can talk about whatever you want.
All right.
Esther and Ron, thank you.
You're
Gemma,
welcome.
I hope to see you again.
Well,
And
thank you.
Thank you
You're
very
you're
much,
part,
Michael. All right.
you're part of the family, so come back and see us. Have a good night.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
safe, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
I'll be watching you.
All right.
All right. Bye. All right. Gemma, you got use your imagination, number 51. Use your
Oh my God.
imagination.
If I used it anymore, we'd be in bad shape.
No, I think what it's telling you is don't be afraid to use it, and I don't think you are.
No.
So,
That's one fear I ain't never
keep
had.
keep on your path. Keep on your path, and if you have something to share, then make sure you get it out there. Don't hold back.
Oh, no.
You know.
Most of the time I do it right. And I'm a little shaky coming online. I'm an old newspaper person,
Yeah.
so
Hey,
Well,
Lorraine. Hey, Bobby.
well, now you know. Now you know Esther. I
Hi,
mean,
Dennis.
you talked to her before, and now you talk to her now on my show and on her
I'm,
show. I mean, it's actually her
We've
show.
never talked like voice
no,
to voice. We've just
Oh, okay.
chatted.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
telling you, this is the first time I've ever got on. I say a lot outside, and
I
me
get
and
confused now.
Esther talked for a long time, but never got to meet.
Yeah, I
Go
get
ahead.
confused. I have a show on Friday night I do called Intermission Transmission, where we don't really have a topic. We just kind of talk about all kinds of stuff. And
Yeah, he brings in musical groups
yeah,
and
Cool.
and Esther created this show. She decided she wanted to start doing interviews, and or maybe I talked her
Ron
into it.
created this show. Ron created this show.
I talked her into it or whatever. And anyway, she said, I'm not really good at doing interviews. And I said, oh, you're lying. You're good at it.
Well, y'all done good. This was great. I like
Yeah.
it. It's
That's
not
up.
near as scary as what I thought it would be before I got on here. So you've probably helped me a lot. I've got a lot of Discord people that's been trying to get me to come on theirs. It's in
That's
true
what you
crime.
were telling me. They were always wanting to argue and stuff on
Oh
Discord.
man, they're horrible. They're awful. But I've got other, I wanted so bad to get an audience in there for this kind of stuff,
Now
Yeah.
that's one that just fell out when I was shuffling.
What is
Number 15. Does it feel good? Meaning if something like what we're doing here is feeling good to you, then
Just
maybe that's you need to consider getting yourself out there and sharing your thoughts.
I've thought about it. I've thought
Yeah.
about a few things. I've thought about doing other videos. I'm just not ever, I don't know, a self confidence thing, I guess.
Well, it's telling you
It's telling me to ignore that. Huh?
Yeah. And telling you that you need to explore that option. And we're here for you if you need to. And you can definitely be joining us tomorrow night.
I'll definitely be watching. I'll come back and join you guys. I'm not
Oh,
scared.
yeah. And then anytime you want to be on here with Esther, Esther, you can keep a seat open for her. Make sure there's a seat available.
Sure will.
And we'll have fun. And you bring any kind of a question you might have, and
Don't give me that.
no, but I just want to make sure that you feel as comfortable as you can, so that you can enjoy the show, and you learn how to grow with that when you are able to talk about things that you normally can't talk about,
Right.
and you can just share your thoughts and not have to worry about somebody. I mean, yeah, people are gonna maybe not like what you're saying or might not like you because of what you're saying, but you know what? I don't
That's
care.
the thing about UFO. It's hard to find women to talk to about UFO stuff.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
men. They're all men.
Well, that's was talking about my Discord, talking about that. I can't find nobody, men or women, either one that'll talk about this that don't act like
Yeah.
I'm just out, in left field totally when I start talking about it.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
there's not that many, but yet, Reverend was right. It's a conversation that is getting more frequent now. And even though they may think we're way out there, there's going to have to be somebody for them to talk to once they realize there's something out there.
I have met people that are way out there, and we are not way out there.
No, we're not. But to some people we are. But no, you're right. We're not. We're not nowhere near out there, according to
Right.
We
Yeah,
never
and
to
then,
keep our mouth shut around.
right, right. But
now I do remember when I was growing up, in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I think about the 90s was when where it got to where we could actually talk about some stuff, but they'd still look at you kind of crazy. Um, but in the 80s and late 70s in California, if you talked about a UFO, guess where you went?
that's the same way here. But
You
now
went to
let's
the
come
psych. You went to the
Same
psych
place to
doctor.
go here, right?
Yeah.
But
You
now
went.
you
Yeah.
talk about East Tennessee and doing your gold stuff.
Yeah.
When we had the camp, we were on. Our camp was on the Trail of Tears. It run right beside the Trail of Tears. It was the most beautiful haunting place you've ever seen. But while I was there for a long time, I ran into more people right there in that area that had had UFO experiences in East Tennessee in the mountains than I had in my entire life.
Mhm.
Now,
See.
it I didn't get into it then. It was years later before I became a believer, but I do remember times that we would be at home sitting on the porch and we would see them over the ridge. And my husband would tell me that they were UFOs. He was a firm believer in them.
Yeah.
But it was fairly common where we were, and everybody talked about it. And it wasn't that way nowhere else over the state that I lived at.
Oh. All right. I'm going to show a link to a chat room. That's our dedicated chat room. Andy created it. Andy Morrow, who was in here earlier, he created a chat room. I paid for a year. It was a little expensive, but we can have up to 50 people chatting at once. So anytime we're on, if you want to check that out and you want to meet some like-minded people or, just have a conversation with somebody, unlike Discord, you like to have somebody that will talk with you.
I want
Ron,
to
you
get
gotta put
somebody.
in. You
Uh,
gotta put in reality. What is it? That's a key word.
yeah.
Astrology.
I could
Oh,
probably get more in Discord if I took enough time to go and look. I had enjoyed
Discord is
it.
kind of confusing.
Yeah, it is. Strange Paradigms has got a Discord channel now that you can get into, and I joined it. I thought maybe I might find somebody over there that would like talking to it that I could drag over to mine. But
Well, just keep working on it, and you can always use our little 2 shows here Thursday and Friday. You can definitely join us and kind of get tuned in or tuned up and get used to being on the air, and you might find it fun after you get used to it.
well, I'll be back.
Yeah.
You did good for your first time because you said you would just probably just sit there and not say nothing.
Well,
You
I
had
told you I
questions.
had to either talk the whole show or not say nothing. I think that's what I think. I
Yeah,
believe I did the
yeah.
first one.
You did
But
good.
you had some questions for him, though, and I like that. So most of the time when I get people to try to do a show, they say, "Well, I'll try it for a little while." Like my friend Amanda, she's in Canada, and she's a producer anyway. She does producing for a lot of other shows, but she started a show on my channel on radio on Mixler Music, and she ended up having a show called MWAT, Music with a Theme. Now I've been in this house 5 years, and she's had the show going before I got to this house, so she has been doing that show on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. At 6 years ago, she's been doing a show that she comes up with the playlist. She figures it out. She music with a theme means that she'll have a theme that she goes with, say like summer, and all the song titles will have the word summer or something to do with summertime. Okay, I don't know how she does it, but that's what makes it magical. And she's a she's a producer. That's why she does it. She had other shows that she had on my channel where she had Sunday Night Funnies, where she'd pick a funny comedian from anywhere. It didn't matter where, all over the planet. And that went on for about a year, and that was on Sunday night. And then she had Tuesday night album show that she did for about a year. Okay, then she had other shows she did for special, like Beatles birthdays or whatever, and so she had all kinds of fun stuff she did. So she did all this on my little station, that
I guess everybody heard that the Queen passed away.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Well, you'd figure it was gonna happen eventually.
That's
So
saying it. I didn't know exactly what was she 97.
96,
I don't,
96.
Andy's little thing by his name, he turned it gray. It was red and blue like a flag, and he turned it gray.
Oh, okay.
Because he's in the UK, right?
Yeah, he's in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a
I
pretty
wonder
big
if they
deal.
saw it coming, or was it just?
Now, what I want to know is how is she two? How is she Queen Elizabeth II or Junior? How is she a junior when that's a female? Males are only the juniors that I know of. A female can't be a junior. They get married and their name changes.
They got a new king and queen now. Andy said, Camilla.
Yeah, Camilla and what?
No, Charles, her son is the king now.
Yeah, and he's the
Charles
one.
III.
Wasn't he the one that was married to Diana, and he's married to Camilla now?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Princess Diana was his wife. But now, I thought that one of their boys was gonna inherit the throne.
I don't know.
One of them decided they didn't want it, and they stepped.
Oh, that
down.
was Harry.
Okay. The
Harry
other
said he didn't want it.
All right. Well, the other one was the one that I thought that was going to take over when she died.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I don't know. But Charles is still alive.
Yeah, but he doesn't want it really. He was probably enjoying his time off because the mom was taking care of all the jobs,
Yeah.
Bobby, my friend Julie's super sweet.
Oh yeah.
She is super sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I immediately felt like I knew her.
Yeah, and that's kind of like how I felt, and that's why I think we had a good connection on her healing session. And that's someone, Gemma, if you have any trouble that you need to sort things out, get together with Julianne Guthrie Smolson. She has 4 names there, so I always
Yeah.
I always call her Julianne, but she's all over the page. You can see her on the astrology page and on Art Radio Shows page, and she does her own little readings for people and healing sessions for people and things like that. That's what she does, you know. And so she's really good at it. So
Oofy's been kind of quiet.
yeah, she made some funny
She's here
remarks.
though.
Yeah, she wanted to make sure you saw her. She made a funny remark about that. What he said. But yeah, CT Ufi is she's out there in the universe somewhere, and anyway, she has a boss CT, which is actually cybernetic toaster. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but anyway, Ufi always talks about wanting toast all the time.
She has a top secret job she can't talk about.
Right. So if you want to make her happy, just tell her you're cooking toast, and she'll be happy. Yeah. Well, Esther, I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's about time to
Um,
get some chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm
kept.
gonna have to go feed my dog. I'm sure y'all been hearing her bark.
Yeah, what kind of dog is it? What kind of dog is it? I've seen it in the background a little bit.
I've got I've got a house full, really. That when you hear barking is a little old 4-pound Yorkie. She's the littlest one of them. I got one that's 19 years old asleep right here beside us.
He's not barking. He's just laying there.
No, he's just laying. He just wherever I put her now. The little one has to bark at everything. She tells
Yeah.
me every time anything in the house moves.
Yeah, if you're talking to somebody, she figures she needs to bark too.
Oh yeah, always.
Probably when you're on the phone too, right? You get on the phone, you should be barking.
Yep. If anybody goes down the road, she barks. So she's
Right.
the best watchdog you can have.
Yeah,
She got a tooth in her head.
if you want some nice music, you can find it here.
Okay.
Bobby is going to
Bobby.
be doing.
Yep, Space Wave. He has a radio show called Space Waves that comes on right after this.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting the link in there right now. There you go. And you can sign up. Just sign up with your email, and you can create an account. You can chat, and then you can go to that chat room that I was just talking about, and you can get over there and be part of the connection. What Bobby does is have a really nice collection of a couple of hours of relaxation music, mostly.
Good.
And you just sit there and have it on in the background, and either go to sleep or just listen to it and relax. And you don't have
I
to do
use
nothing.
one. I use an app of a night. I've got Roku TV. That's why I look up to my left all the time.
Oh, okay.
I'm going up on
Yeah.
TV for a while.
Yeah.
But I've got a Roku app that plays all sorts of meditation and relaxation.
Yeah.
Music I listen to before I go to bed of a night. It helps.
But now I'm going to do this show for Bobby tonight, which I got to get off of here so I can do that. But yeah, I'll be playing that for him. And he did my 2 shows last night when I was talking with Julie, and then I was going to get Geekend started, but for some reason I was distracted by the news. I was watching the story about the Queen dying. It was like I didn't realize what time it was, and I ended up missing the time to start. And so then Bobby started it automatically. He's that way. He'll jump right in there and help out and take over and run it so it's not missed.
Okay, I'll check it out when I get off here. I'm gonna have to get this off my phone and pull it up on my tablet.
Yeah.
Well, Gemma, thank you for coming. It was better to have somebody else asking questions than just,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all having me. I
giving it
really
to
do.
people and
And you're
stuff.
welcome. You're
Glad you
welcome.
came.
You're welcome anytime, so don't be shy.
It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you to everybody that was in the chat. Special thank you to Reverend Carter.
Oh yeah.
Everybody
you.
have a good weekend.
Just leave the studio. Just hit leave studio on the bottom.
I can't find it.
Down on the bottom.
It's red.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Esther. We're gonna get on out of here, and I'm gonna get that show started.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right.
Ron.
Yeah, you did a good job. I think Reverend Michael liked your format here. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I
So
sent it to him, so he would
yeah,
know.
we kind of
I
we,
sent
we
it to
kind of went
everybody.
we kind of went off the track a little ways, but not too bad. We stayed
Not
with it.
too bad.
We handled the main topic first, and then we rambled on about crazy stuff. But anyway.
Next week's gonna be Stephen Bassett.
Oh, okay, that'd be fun. All right, well,
Mhm.
just work on the interview process the same way, and get to the topic right away as quick as we can, like what you said.
Yep.
And
Just
I
just
think
learning.
that's a good way to do it. All right, well, we're out of here. Thank you again, and I hate to rush off like this, but it's 5 till, and we better get Bobby's show going, or he'll be coming in here and kicking
Bye,
tables
Bobby.
over.
Have a good show.
All right.
Bye, everybody in chat.
Bye, everyone in chat. Come on over and
Bye,
listen to
everybody.
music. Thank you,
Have a good
Esther. We'll see you.
weekend. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Oofy. We're out of here. See you next time.